That is the hollow hold. Today we're going to talk about the hollow hold, advantages, how to modify, and what they're good for. Let's get into it. Hollow holds start when you put your feet flat on the floor, put your hips flat on the floor, and then push your shoulders up off the floor, flattening your back on the floor so there's no space to put your hands. From there, you're going to exhale your air and flatten out your stomach. So instead of getting the pressure to be in the middle, you're going to push down and flatten out your belly. You're going to keep your shoulders up off the floor. Then your arms are going to go up above you. And then if you're strong enough, you can do both legs or maybe one or just at a 90-degree angle until you build the core strength enough so that your back is not flip-flopping up every time you extend your legs. As you build strength, you can start to increase your time under tension. And when you build strength in the hollow hold, you'll see that things like pull-ups and planks and even regular normal strength training exercises become a little bit easier because you're able to keep that core under control. Now, hollow holds originally came about from calisthenics and bodyweight training, so gymnastics, and it's a huge tool that's used all over the place, from CrossFit to HIIT training to strength training. A lot of people incorporate the hollow hold. Here's what the hollow hold looks like if it was in a plank. We're still looking for what's called that hollow hold, right? So it almost looks like your back is going to push and round into a C, which you'll see that if you pull your core in, you'll get a sensation here. That means you're engaging and pulling back. So let's say you want to do a plank, but you want to do it really well, which then make your push-ups even better push-ups. So put your hands on the floor. Instead of dropping into your shoulders, you're going to push the ground away. That's the same thing as lifting your shoulders off the floor in the hollow hold. And then from here, you're going to put your feet back, maybe one, maybe two. And what you're going to do is round your back as you're stepping back. So from here, instead of dropping into it, letting my hips guide me, I'm going to push the ground away and almost like round my back and exhale my air and pull my belly towards my spine. So it's going to look like this. Then I can move forward or backwards, and then I have a lot more strength and control for things like shoulder taps and even push-ups. Finding that hollow hold allows you to really tap into your core on a deeper level than just doing crunches, for example. And in turn, it actually lets you use it for a real life purpose, like planks and push-ups. Let's see what a modified hollow hold looks like. When you're modifying your hollow hold, the hardest part is going to be keeping that time under tension long. So first thing you're going to do with modifications is make sure that you're only doing 20 seconds at a time, 10 seconds at a time. How long can you hold it without letting your back come off the floor? Here's a way to build that strength if you have no strength or you're just starting out. You could have no strength because you have been injured or you're postpartum. Personally, I needed the hollow hold after giving birth, and it was a really, really good way to work on my breath, to build up to a hollow hold, and I didn't rush myself. I really just focused on how am I going to build the most strength, the best possible way to heal my postpartum body, and that's how I did it. Here are some of the tools that I used. First, you're going to start with just the breathing. Being on the floor, flattening out your back. Instead of saying flatten out your back, maybe I should say find your neutral spine. So finding a neutral spine here is super important. Now you are locking the back of your body towards the floor. And right now I can slide my hand underneath my low back. So it's not quite glued to the ground yet. What I'm going to do first is glue it to the ground, which brings my pelvis up. And then the other part is actually bringing your rib cage down, which for me brings up my shoulders a little bit. But maybe you have the flexibility where you're not coming off the floor, or maybe it hurts your neck to come off the floor like that. Totally fine. You can keep your neck on the floor, but you're going to push down on your rib cage. So instead of this flare, first the pelvis and then the rib cage. Now my back is glued to the ground and there's no air that goes through from one side or the other. A good way to practice this on a partner, for example, is if you put a towel underneath their low back, and if you try to pull it, you shouldn't be able to pull the towel away from them because they're pushing their back down into the floor that hard. So now that you're here, your rib cage is engaged. The first thing that's going to want to happen is your air pressure is going to want to go up towards the center of your body, especially if you're postpartum. It's really normal to cone, and you'll see like your body actually pulls up like this. So what you're going to do is, instead of letting the air go up, you're going to push the air down. So take a big inhale, and you're going to bring your rib cage down, and then take another big inhale, and you're going to, like you're blowing out a big cake with lots of candles. You're going to pretend like you're happy to be aging, and you're going to say, okay, big old cake, I'm going to blow it all out. Or maybe I'm trying to blow up a balloon. That's another way to think about it. So it's going to look like this. And I want you to be a little bit dramatic, because that's how you know you're really getting to that depth of the breath. And you'll notice that if you don't exhale very hard, it's not going to be that effective. So what's going to happen is that it's going to let up, or you'll find that sometimes people call it a circuit glitch. I could personally, when I was postpartum, I was able to start the breath, but I wasn't able to prolong the breath for a very long time. So my focus was trying to keep that breath and the core engaged for as long as I possibly could. Here's what I mean. First, I started with both feet on the floor, gluing my back, making sure my rib cage is down. Now I'm pretty engaged. I'm more engaged. I'm going to keep it there and take another inhale. Exhale again. I'm more engaged. Now that I'm here, I'm going to try to build by lifting up one foot off the floor. Maybe by doing this, I find that I'm a little bit weaker, so I'm going to take an inhale again. Remember your cues of rib cage, pelvis, push down into the floor. It's going to look like, now I'm here. Okay, I can keep that engagement. Then I can go to both legs. Hands on the floor, big inhale. Exhale, bring that rib cage down. Now I'm really compressing and keeping that here. This was also helpful when I was trying to rebuild glute stability or back stability. Just having that breath helped me in my movements, helped me brace better. It helped me squat better and heavier. So this is super key in getting that engagement to happen on your command, rather than when you are defending yourself against a big weight. So what you're going to do when you're advancing is, maybe you're here, maybe you start to bring your arms up. Does this look familiar? This is the tabletop position. Maybe from here you can go into what's called a dead bug, extending one arm and one leg, keeping that back flat on the floor. Big inhale at the top. Exhale as you reach and extend. Pull it back in. Same thing. Once you have this figured out, maybe the next stage is to keep expanding on it, lifting your shoulders up off the floor. Maybe from here you do a little bit more of an advanced dead bug. I'm starting to shake already because it's asking a lot from my body. From here, maybe you do both arms out and back and exhale. And then from here, maybe you hold longer and longer and longer, increasing your time under tension. So give those things a try and let me know how they go.